This next question comes from Wishbone Willy. Love that. How fast do you think the offense will go this year? He adds, in my opinion, the offense the last few years have been like a Ferrari with one speed. Will there be more nuance to the hurry up under Seth Littrell? What do you think, Ted?
Well,
More
if you listen,
nuance.
yeah, I, if you listen to the way he's talked about it, he said that they're going to go fast. Um, I wish they wouldn't go as fast personally, but I think that's what you're going to see. Now, I think a lot of it will depend on can Jackson Arnold run the offense efficiently at speed like that? How does the offensive line do? Does it work? Are you having success with it? I think there's some of that to it. Like I wish we played at a slower speed. When you have a defense that's as good as ours is, I think you should slow down a little bit. I also I I don't know, to a certain degree, I don't think it hurts the defense as much as maybe um people think. And I I don't know. I feel like sometimes you don't do yourself any favors when you go fast just to go fast, or when you go fast to hide other deficiencies. I think there's better ways to mask that.
That is an interesting part. You think about the offensive line situation. Tempo, if you feel like you are undermanned along the offensive line,
Mhm.
tempo is typically a way teams try to neutralize a deficiency up front.
Yep.
Like, hey, we're just going to play really fast, make the defense kind of scramble around, and just be in better shape than them. I
Mhm.
I think they feel better about their offensive line situation than they did in the spring. And I do wonder, is going super fast the best thing for a young quarterback? I don't know. It's all about, can Jackson Arnold process all this stuff as quickly as he needs to? I do think there is some value every once in a while getting lined up and seeing what the defense is hit.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of that. But Joe John
You have to
Finley and
go
Seth
fast to be
Littrell,
able to threaten to go fast. Like
yeah,
you have to snap it fast in order to get them to truly show their hand if you're going to run to the line of scrimmage.
I think I think their, let's call it, their base mode of operation is going to be tempo. That's I mean, that's what Joe John Finley and Seth Littrell have been doing for a long time offensively.
Yep.
So, and you think about some of these super successful offenses around the country, like they play fast, they snap it quickly. It's how this offense has kind of evolved. I I wish I I wish that it was a rule that you had to huddle every play in college football. That's what I truly
Yes.
wish. I wish that it was a penalty if you didn't huddle.
I've been
But
saying it for years. That's
I
right.
don't you think that at this point it just feels like they're going to be a tempo offense?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It still comes down to execution.
That's it. You can't like tempo and speed. You can fool some people for a little while with it, but it's not a perfect mask. You know, if you truly have deficiencies, you're gonna hurry up yourself right into a lot of problems. So I don't know. I think it's most effective whenever you play at different speeds. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely going to be a large part of what they do.
I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword where if you play really fast, it limits what the defense can do. It limits how elaborate they can be with their plan. Like it eliminates a lot of stuff to where you just kind of don't even have to worry about it. But it also limits what you can do offensively.
Mhm.
And it limits what you can see from the defense before you snap the football.
Yeah. And it
And
also,
I don't know, man. It's like a love hate. I I played in a tempo offense and always felt, I felt like it was an advantage for me. I was kind of, especially early in my career when I was an undersized guy. I was like, hey, this gives me more of a chance to succeed. You got to be in great shape. But as I got older and I was playing center, I was like, you know what? It'd be really cool to just be able to look at the defense before I snap this ball with my head between my legs.
yeah.
But so goes life, Ted.
Yeah. We can talk about stylistically, what do we prefer? I think it's been proven many a times. It's well on the record that I hate tempo offenses, but it's how it's going to be. It's how it's going to be. So I hope that we do have some different speeds and there is some different nuance to it, because at times over the last couple of years, it felt like we don't have anything except for run up to the line, snap it, and try and throw it or hand it off where they're not, which is not a good way to run an offense or a football team, in my opinion.
And somehow, statistically, pretty solid.
It's been great, which is, I mean, last year, what we were the number 3 offense in the country? Never felt like
It
it, but
never
we
felt
were.
that way.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't know.
I just there's something that comes with just being able to play kind of at a methodical pace at times in the game and still going and scoring points.
Yeah,
Like showing dominance, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Hey, if they go super fast this season and score a bunch of points, we're going to be the first two out here going, this is awesome. Keep going. Pedal to the metal, baby. Let's go.
yeah.
But
No,
it all comes down to execution.
yeah.
So if you're going to be a
I
tempo offense, get really, really good at it.
here, you make best with what you have. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. That's what everyone's doing. I find it to be a gimmick to replace what you can't when you can't like run over the top. I don't know. We've seen people run pace. I mean, I think everyone to some degree does it, but I mean, you haven't seen any championship teams relying on it for offense, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
You you wish we were Michigan, don't you?
Yes.
So many tight ends.
I mean, if you really want to screw a defense up, make them have to sub like different guys on and off the field and communicate that. I don't know, like speed. When I can see the formation, it makes it easy. Yeah, I might get tired, but whenever you like are like running 2 tight ends on a back off, 3 wide receivers, like it just changing personnel constantly, defenses, there no one's good at logistics anymore in football games.
What was it? I can't remember. Was it Iowa State a couple of years ago where you were up in the booth like charting? They've been in, it was like their first drive and they had been in 8 different personnel groupings.
So, yeah, was it them or Kansas?
Or
Someone
Kansas
like that.
State or maybe
Yeah,
it was Kansas. I can't remember. But you were just going, they're throwing everything at us.
yeah. Which like some defenses are good enough to stand back and you can match all that personnel with the same people, but a lot of times you got to run different guys on and off, and like when you just stay lined up with two by two wide receivers and just go fast, like you're not moving anybody. It doesn't affect a good defense.
Agreed.
Mm.
Big tempo guys, clearly. We've reached the Phil Lawson. I'm calling this the Phil Lawson section of the
Okay.
podcast because he sent in 3 really good questions in one tweet. Phil's first question: which player has markedly taken the biggest step forward towards reaching their full potential over the summer and thus far into fall camp? One for offense and one for defense.
You know, even though it's not like it's almost hard not to say Billy Bowman, isn't it? I mean, he's already been great, and I think the the question is more aimed towards guys that are maybe
Like
have
young
been,
guys.
yeah,
But it's fine
um,
if you feel if Bowman's the first guy that pops into your head. First of all, going to get a lot of people excited because he was a damn good player a year ago.
yeah.
And if he's improved, which you and I both agree, he just looks like he's playing at a different level at this point in time.
Oh man, who else? Oh my gosh, Danny Okoye.
Don't get me started on Okoye, man. Last episode, I know my comments about Okoye caught some people's attention. He's he's just scratching the surface.
Yes.
Just
Yep.
scratching the surface. Not even close. Not even close to reaching the full potential.
Yeah, the full potential. Um,
Is Bauer Sharp a good answer? I feel like everybody, like all his teammates really respect him. The coaching staff raves about him. Like the guy, he was pretty much an unknown and has worked really, really hard through the spring and summer. And now we're about to find out, is he going to reap all the benefits of that hard work? He's the starting tight end. There's just no question about that.
yeah. What about Jaden Gibson? He's got a lot of praise recently as well.
He's gotten a lot of praise. Is wide receiver is one of those positions for me. I value wide receiver very highly now in the pecking order on your football team. And wide receiver is one of those positions where I'm just gonna have to see you do it in games, man.
Yeah. Well, at tight end, it's like I'm just going to have to see them allow you to get the ball thrown your way.
Yes, that would be nice.
I mean, even when Mark Andrews was here, it was like, why the hell are we not throwing the ball to him constantly? Why? Just, well, it's one of those things, position he plays. Okay. So have we answered that at
Oh,
all?
no, we've done a terrible job at answering this question.
Just popping
I
up more
think
questions.
is it and it's still early, but it's also like the season is almost here. I maybe the answer is Javante Barnes
Huh.
on offense. Because let's be real, man. You think about what we were saying about him after the Florida State bowl game,
Yes.
and then what we were saying about him after the Arizona game and the
That's right.
season that he had.
Yep.
Like it took a big dip. It was one of those where it's like, hey man, I don't know if this guy can play here. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he can play here. He looked
Yeah.
slow. He looked tentative, and now he looks fast and explosive and healthy, and like he's playing carefree. So I
Yeah.
think we do talk about a guy that is much closer to his full potential than what we saw a year ago. I think Javante Barnes may be the answer on offense.
Okay.
You
I'm
don't love it. I
comfortable with
can tell
that.
you don't love it. Just tell
No,
me you don't
no,
love it.
I'm comfortable with that. I like that.
Okay. Okay.
Like my look probably was because I had already locked that in Javante Barnes and was back to thinking about defense. And is it Kip Lewis getting his weight up to where?
That was instantly the name that popped into my head for the
Yeah,
defense.
yeah, maybe it's Kip Lewis. Kip Lewis, Javante Barnes. We feel good about that.
I think that feels good.
Feels good.
I also think Kendall Dolby, I just think that he's playing at a high level. The way that they want him to play Cheetah when he's on the field,
Hmm.
all Cheetahs are not created equal in this defense. And they don't use them all the same in this
Right.
defense. They're smart football coaches. They coach around their personnel and ask and try to play to their strengths. who they have on the field. I think Dolby in the more like cover heavy, blitz every once in a while when you need to blitz, roll it the cheetah. I think they feel really good about what he's given that defense.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I, he he does a great job covering those inside receivers. He's excellent, and I think he's gotten way better at kind of disguising and timing his blitzes. Practice I was at, I think it was 2 or 3 times he came wide open on blitzes just by kind of pimping a little bit there on the outside where they thought he was covering or whatever, and he came totally unblocked.
I may or may not have been screaming that he was coming off the slot at one point and out of practice. I was like, why is Billy on the hash? Billy shouldn't be on the hash. Just screaming like an old man. If I could see it, you got to be able to see it out there, boys. Come on, man.
Well, that's the other thing that, like, and you know this, I've talked about it on the broadcast a million times. Biggest pet peeve in the world is whenever the entire world knows you're blitzing, just get right up there and blitz. Stop staying way back and being super late whenever it's already been spotted. It's like a throwaway snap. Whole snap sucks because of that.
Devontae Barnes, Kip Lewis, final answer.
Yes.
Which brings us to Phil Lawson's second question. Remember,
Okay.
Phil Lawson section of the podcast here. Question 2 for Phil. Percent of plays the offense will use a traditional tight end. Whoa.
What do we mean by traditional?
I think
Hand
we
down
need
in line?
hand down in line. I is that a traditional tight end in my mind is a guy that is equally good at blocking as he is going out and catching the football. Is Bauer Sharp a traditional tight end? The guy was a quarterback a couple years ago.
I don't From what I've seen, and you've probably watched him more, I feel like he blocks his ass off.
Oh yeah, but he also was a quarterback a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So is he a traditional tight end? Yes. No, I would say if you look at the tight end room right now, the most traditional looking like body type and skill set is Jake Roberts.
Yeah.
I would say Bauer Sharp leans more to, let's call it the new age tight end, like more
Yeah.
of an athletic, like his strength is the athleticism and pass catching. Now he's physical and I think he's even more than a willing blocker. Willing blocker is usually what you're looking for from that athletic kind of move tight end. I think he's getting pretty good at blocking people. He's certainly willing to mix it up and he's physical. But yeah, traditional tight end percentage of plays, I think they're mainly going to be an 11 personnel football team.
Yeah. That's why, by the way the question is framed, that's why I feel like he's talking about like an inline hand down on the line of scrimmage tight end. He's asking how many percent of the plays will they be in that like type of traditional formation? And I would say, like, if they're in 12 a lot, you'll probably get that look. I mean, if they're both going to be good blockers, and like, I mean, if Roberts is going to be legit blocker and Bauer Sharp is good, he's going to be the move guy, right? Off the ball. And if you have that combination between those guys, I think 12 could be really dangerous for you as a personnel grouping. But are they going to use it? Who knows?
Don't get me excited. Don't get me hopeful that they're going to do a bunch of 12 personnel.
Wait till have you seen Missouri's run game?
Yeah. That guy ran for a gajillion yards last year.
I was watching
Outside
the Missouri
zone, inside zone, outside zone, inside zone.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Go watch it,
I was
people. It's gorgeous.
I was watching the Tennessee Missouri game, and I was like, because I was like, I want to see this Tennessee defensive line, and I was like, I hate that I really like Missouri's offense. A lot of bunch, a lot of like boot stuff. It's pretty good.
bunch of concepts that build. Ah,
Yes.
you can do so much off outside zone people. Why everybody just doesn't run it a ton, I don't know. I don't know. But the tight end situation, it is going to be an interesting one. I think you feel really good about Sharp. Roberts has played a ton of football. Cade McIntyre still so he's just not a big guy. I don't know like where he fits really. Caden Helms, we're to the point where it's like I'm just gonna have to see him out on the field
Yeah.
before I believe it. I wish that guy the best, man. He's just battled the injuries have been horrible for him. Like, but I'm just gonna have to see him out on the field on a game day to and then assess it from there. But Josh Fanuel,
He's
does
improved a
he
lot.
he's gotten a lot better, but is he to a point where you say, okay, yeah, go block SEC edge guys?
Yeah.
I I don't know.
Yeah. I think you're probably there. I think Bauer Sharp and Jake Roberts seems like a really probably your best two tight ends that you've had in a while, like for a two deep. So I like it.
Bill Lawson's third question. Will we use any two back sets? I hope so. I think they feel pretty good about where the running back position is as a whole now that Javante Barnes is looking good. Sawchuck is kind of, you know what you're going to get. Now he's got great speed. You know what you're going to get with him, but is he a guy you want to use in two back sets? Like when you get in two back, when you get in 21, backs have to block typically with some of the things you're doing in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
And is Sawchuck, and you want both guys to be able to block because you don't want to just have the defense be able to key on one guy and be like, that's the blocking guy. That's the guy they're going to give the ball to. So if it's a two back situation, I think it'd more likely be the two bigger backs like Hicks and Barnes. Maybe Tatum in there if as the season progresses and he kind of earns more and more trust. But I think if you get in a two back set, you want both guys to both have like a physical presence too. And I'm not saying that Sawchuck can't go in there and throw his body around. He obviously can, but I just think Barnes and Hicks would be a nice duo in a two back set. And it's a good way to get both of those guys on the field and keep them involved and feel like they're getting a lot of snaps.
Yeah. I love it.
We just don't know if they're going to do any of this
Well,
stuff.
that's what I was going to say. Like you, two backs, I love it. You can run, you can run your insert stuff. You can run split zone. You can run counter. You can run zone read. You can run boot. It's great for screens. It's really good for like the inside
Hold on.
route
What's a
concepts.
screen?
Yeah.
What's a
It's
running back screen?
stuff you typically run whenever you get in a huddle and not just line up and run the same zone insert run for the 95th time of the game. But yeah, it offers a bunch of variety. I just don't think that that's what we're going to see. I mean, maybe like I think it'll be a game plan 1 week, 3 or 4 snaps out of it, possibly, and then you don't see it again for 3 or 4 weeks or rest of the season. Game plan only thing, not going to be a base part of the offense. That would be my guess.
I think that's a fair guess. Well, I I I don't know how elaborate they're going to get with the personnel groupings.
Yeah.
I think they're mainly going to be an 11 personnel team. And part of me thinks that if they're going to change it up personnel wise, they're going to go maybe more the 10 personnel direction as opposed to like the 12
Yeah.
with the talent they have at wide receiver. I don't know. But
Hey, three great questions, and I'm not sure that we answered any of them. I guess we truly did answer number one. Finally,
I hope Phil Lawson enjoyed his section of the podcast. Thank
good
you, Phil.
conversation, anyways.
Thank you, Phil. All right.